Hey everyone, Aaron here from MTGChallengers, and welcome to another Magic the Gathering gameplay. For today's match, we have me playing Selesnya Auras and Evan playing Selesnya Aggro. I was on the play this game. I started things off with the Temple of Plenty, which allowed me to scry away the top card of my library. Evan also played a Temple of Plenty for his first turn and also chose to send the top card of his library to the bottom. I played a Forest and cast a Hero of Iroas. Evan played a Forest of his own and cast a Voice of Resurgence. I laid down a Plains and cast a Witchstalker. I chose to pass the turn without attacking. Evan played another Forest and cast not one or two but three Dryad Militants. I played another Forest and enchanted my Witchstalker with an Unflinching Courage. Once again, I chose to pass the turn without attacking. Evan played another Forest and swung with his Voice. I chose to take the 2 damage, going to 18. For my next turn, I bestowed an Eidolon of Countless Battles onto my Witchstalker, making it a 9/9. I then swung with it. Evan cast an Advent of the Worm in response, getting a 5/5 Worm token with Trample. He then triple blocked the Stalker with it and 2 of his Militants, killing all of the creatures. The bestowed Eidolon fell off and became a creature of its own. I gained 9 life, going to 27. Since the Militants were 1 toughness, my Stalker still trampled through for 2 damage, taking Evan to 18. Evan cast an Experiment 1, followed by a 4th Dryad Militant, allowing the experiment to evolve. He then swung with his Voice and a Militant. I chose to take the 4, going to 23. I played another Plains and swung for 2 with my Eidolon. Evan chose to take it, so before damage I bestowed a Boon Satyr onto the Eidolon, making it a 7/5. Evan's life total dropped down to 11. He played a Temple Garden on his next turn, paying 2 life for it, going to 9. This provided the 2 sources of white that he needed to cast a Bramaz, King of Ereskos. When he entered, this evolved his Experiment 1 again, making it a 3/3. He then swung with his team, minus the Bramaz he just played. I felt that I had gotten enough value off of my hero, so I traded it with his Voice and took the other 7 damage, going to 16. When the Voice died, Evan got an Elemental token that entered as a 5/5, which evolved the Experiment 1 again. For my next turn, I cast a Fleecemane Lion, followed by another Witchstalker. The new creatures pumped my Eidolon up to an 8/6. I chose to pass the turn without attacking. Evan cast another Experiment 1 on his next turn. For combat, he swung with his Elemental token and his bigger Experiment 1 for a total of 10 damage. I knew that with Bramaz out, the Elemental token would soon get out of hand, so I traded for it with my Eidolon. The Boon Satyr bestowed to it fell off and became a creature. I took the other 4 damage, going to 12. For my next turn, I just activated the Monstrous ability on my Fleecemane Lion, making it a 4/4 indestructible hexproof creature. Evan cast another Voice of Resurgence on his next turn, evolving the smaller Experiment. For combat, he swung with everything but the smaller Experiment 1 and the Voice of Resurgence he just played. I blocked and killed Bramaz with my Lion. I then blocked one of the Militants with my Witchstalker. I took a total of 7 damage from the other creatures, going down to 5. I played another Temple of Plenty on my next turn, choosing to send the top card to the bottom. I then cast another Hero of Iroas, followed by another Witchstalker. For Evan's next combat, he just swung with his Voice of Resurgence. Even though doing so would give him another Elemental token, I couldn't afford to take any more damage, so I blocked and killed it with my Lion. Both of Evan's experiments evolved when the token entered as a 5/5, and Evan passed the turn. I just cast a Glade Cover Scout for my next turn. Evan swung with his whole team on his next combat for a total of 16 damage. I blocked the Cat token with my hero and blocked the Elemental token with my Lion. I blocked and killed the Militant with one of my Witchstalkers. I chumped the biggest Experiment 1 with my Glade Cover Scout and blocked the smaller one with my other Witchstalker. The Stalker died and Evan removed 2 +1/+1 counters from the experiment to regenerate it. I top decked another Temple of Plenty next turn, using it to scry. I chose to leave the card on top this time. I chose not to attack, so at the end of the turn, Evan cast an Advent of the Worm, getting a 5/5 Worm token with Trample. This evolved the smaller Experiment 1. He cast a Spear of Heliod on his next turn, pumping all of his creatures. He then swung with the team again for a total of 20 damage. I chose to double block the Worm with my Lion and Hero to kill it. I then blocked the Elemental token with my Boon Satyr and chumped the larger Experiment 1 with my Witchstalker. As a result, all of my creatures but the Lion died, and I took 3 damage from the smaller Experiment 1, going to 2. For my next turn, I enchanted my Lion with an Unflinching Courage, making it a 6/6 indestructible creature with hexproof, trample, and lifelink. I chose to pass the turn without attacking. Evan swung with his team again for a total of 13. I blocked the larger Experiment 1, which Evan regenerated and took 7 damage. However, I gained 6 from the lifelink, allowing me to barely stay alive at 1 life. On my next turn, I enchanted the lion further with an ethereal armor, making it an 8/8. Evan swung with his team again for a total of 11. I blocked the biggest experiment 1 again. Evan was able to regenerate it yet again, and I took 7 from the other creatures. However, I gained another 8 from the lifelink, inching my life total up to 2. I just top decked a plains next turn, so I just passed it back. Evan didn't draw anything, so he went ahead and passed it back to me. I cast another Fleecemane Lion and immediately made it monstrous. Evan played a Temple of Plenty, sending the top card to the bottom. I played an Elvish Mystic on my next turn. I then swung with my huge lion for 8. Evan blocked it with a smaller Experiment 1. 6 damage trampled over, dropping him to 3, and I gained 8, going to 10. For his next turn, he cast a Loxodon Smiter, which entered as a 5/5 due to the spear. This evolved the Experiment 1 still in play. He passed the turn again. I played a forest and swung with my 2 lions. Evan blocked the unenchanted one with his smiter, allowing both creatures to live. He then double blocked the larger one with his voice token and experiment 1. Both of the creatures were 4/4s, so they were able to absorb all of the trample damage from the lion. They all died and I gained 8, going to 18. Evan drew his card next turn and showed a handful of lands, so he scooped it up, giving me the win and taking us to game 2. So that's it for this gameplay. Be sure to check out our others. If you'd like the exact lists to these decks, check the description box for links to the respective deck techs, and also be sure to like our Facebook page for behind the scenes information regarding upcoming decks, matchups, and other projects. Thanks for visiting, and if you like what you see, subscribe for more Magic the Gathering content.